This question has been bugging me for a while. How will tech, AI, as well as money redefine wealth in the future? I was pondering on it for a while, and decentralized finance came up, and I was really thinking about it. Decentralized finance, in terms of crypto, is almost as if we're moving from one centralized entity to another type of centralized entity. So I'll give you an example. These centralized exchanges move just the same as banks. So we're moving away from banks to a centralized exchange, just the same as a bank. Only difference is you can actually buy assets. You pay trading fees, you pay different types of fees on these exchanges just like you would a bank. Only thing is you have access directly to these digital assets, which is like digital currencies, essentially. And my take is, just like banks, they take fees. You might get 8% per year, but let's say, for instance, you have all your money in an exchange and an exchange goes down. If you don't have your private keys or you don't have your own ledger, then your money is down with that platform, aka FTX. FTX went down. A lot of people lost a lot of money with FTX as well. It went to zero. Where did all that money go? Well, to be discussed, but that's not what we're here for today. When we talk about DeFi, essentially it's the alternative route towards traditional system. And as people turn towards peer-to-peer blockchain technology and so on, we're losing more trust in these institutions, right? As of 2020 happened, nobody too much cares about these institutions as much. And so people are now finding more interest in these digital assets. Now, we can argue semantics about other stuff, as in global access to assets, currencies, and so on. So that's the terms of DeFi. That's the main point that I want to take away. I want to drive home right now. Wealth will be more decentralized. AI-powered wealth management. Now, just like your robo-advisors, there will be more advanced systems. We think today we have AI traders, but we're not talking about just AI traders. We're talking about personalized investment based on where you are currently financially and where you're trying to get to. And these AI knows your goals, how these assets are performing, and knows how to advise you in terms of managing your wealth. Obviously, there comes a point where you can it will be able to invest the money for you in certain assets. I don't think we're anywhere near that yet, but that's a potential in the future where AI is investing for you. We spoke about decentralized properties where it will be, instead of a localized entity where that entity is solely responsible for all your money and it has account for all of it. We'll have smart contracts, we'll have these blockchain technology in place to make sure everything runs smoothly as possible, from code and so on. The third thing that I think AI would redefine wealth in the new era is AI in the workplace. Now, AI in the workplace, well, essentially all it really does look like is more automation, and it frees up time and it makes entrepreneurs way more money. Entrepreneurs can spend half the time, make triple the money, as well as get a better quality of life. Now, entrepreneurs even today is actually practicing this AI in the workplace type of mentality. Obviously, not all entrepreneurs practice this 4-hour workweek mentality, but what I'm trying to say is that more entrepreneurs in the future, in terms of wealth creation and entrepreneurship as a whole, will mostly focus on the lifestyle aspect of things, because they will actually have more time to invest in lifestyle. And again, there's only so much money you could buy. You have more money and more time, but what are you going to be doing with this time? Are you going to be using this time to focus on more money, or will you be using that time to actually better your life or your lifestyle? And so people become more healthy. People do a lot of different things to improve themselves as a whole. I've had insane curiosity with this, and it was data as a commodity. Now, I'm not too sure how Microsoft and Google, how they even really go about doing this, but essentially what they do is they collect your data and they serve it up as ads. They serve it up to these platforms that want ads, and they can direct their ads towards a specific customer or person, which is you or me. And so because this data is being able to monetize, in the future we'll be able to have access to our own data, which we can monetize and become the middleman instead of actually having these bigger corporations as the middleman for our own data. And so the more valuable the data is, the more dividends we can even collect from our own data. And that would be very valuable for a lot of people. I would love to see how much money they could collect, how much money I could collect from my own data in terms of my activity online. I see that This is a side note, by the way, completely side note. But I also saw somewhere it was AI here now, right? AI is here now. What will content look like in the future if we can barely distinguish what's real and what's not real from it? And so my take on that was like, it has to be on chain somehow, where we somehow have to upload our content on chain and then verify our identity somehow. I don't know. But that's what came across my mind. I was talking about that whole data collection and data commodity type of thing. But monetizing your own data, that's for sure a thought process in terms of wealth in the future. Virtual and augmented realities. We've talked about this in the past, where NFTs and these tokenized assets and these metaverse properties and stuff like that. But I don't think we're there yet in terms of adoption, in terms of people actually adopting to it. But I think there's been small advances towards that type of economy, where we've been having these glasses that can do all these different special things. We have the Apple Vision Pro, we had these Samsung glasses, we had these glasses, these Ray-Bans, the recording glasses, and so on, all these different advances into VR and augmented realities. And once we do fully immerse in these realities, or even immerse in them partially, we're gonna start creating these economies, because just it's a space that we're gonna be dwelling in, and so we can create value in this economy. We can get back a lot of different things from these communities, from these economies. And that's also gonna be a factor in terms of wealth in the future. In terms of, let's think 5, 10, 15 years from now, these are gonna be a reality in our future. I can genuinely see that. And so there's a lot of things to think about here. When we think of intellectual wealth, this is how we as humans interact with AI to create value. Nowadays, smart people, I should say, are moving from the traditional way of using AI or LLMs, as in we just put it in and we get back an answer. We're now using it as a sparring partner, where people are using it as a sparring partner to create value, to create things, and then monetize through that. And so they're creating these mini worlds or mini items or value creation tool, and using it as our intellectual property to actually monetize and get back value from. And so in the future, the future is now, but also in the further future, it'll be a very corresponding relationship between us and AI, creating that value and serving it back to our communities as a whole. Now, we spoke about intellectual property, we spoke about DeFi, we spoke about data collection, we spoke about AI in terms of managing our wealth. There's time freedom as well. I think I briefly touched on this, where people have a lot more time on their hands. There is data commodity, and there is hybrid and digital wealth. Now, in my previous video, I spoke on the idea of tokenized assets, and essentially what those are assets that are tokenized and sold on smart contracts, essentially. And people, the real wealth creators of the future, are gonna have physical assets as well as digital assets. Those are included into coins, collectibles, as well as tokenized assets. And I just genuinely think that that's the focus for the future in terms of AI, crypto, blockchain, and merging it all together to make it make sense, where people can actually see through this lens and see through the haze that there are opportunities that are brewing at the moment. It's just only if you're able to see through those opportunities. A lot of us aren't able to synthesize the information a lot of times, because for one, it comes too congested. Sometimes it's just a bit too much for even us to even digest. But once we can slow it down, once we can take our time to really rewatch and actually get through it, then we can actually see that there's a lot of value to be created here, and there's a lot of value to be extracted as well. And so thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.